you're out there, you're riding, you're having a good time, and taking in the outdoors.
The fight isn't over. The fight is just beginning.
I guess I should address my hate mail every once in a while. Most of my mail is super awesome. Most people are super awesome. And even haters are pretty awesome. But I just wanted to address it because I know a lot of people have a perception that is much different from mine. So I wanted to address some of the concerns. One of the concerns is people feel entitled to know where I have been. They feel entitled to know where I've been on planet Earth. AKA, they want me to tell them where all my trails are that I hit. I am not obligated to tell anybody where I have been. So, that's just that's just common sense. So I don't know what else to tell people who are all butthurt because I won't tell them where certain trails are. Number two, I've got a couple of pieces of hate mail from, emails and such, from people who think it's immoral for me to sell trail information because it exists for the public. How can I sell locations that are in the mountains? How could I do that? Well, let me explain how I can do that. It's called capitalism. And I'm providing a service, and unless you would like to create your own website and spend the money on your own website and go out and explore the trail and give difficulty ratings and danger ratings, pertinent information about the trail, because it's stuff that people want to know and that they are willing to subscribe to a website to find out. Now, I don't do that anymore, but I've had a lot of hate mail about it, and I think people who give me hate mail about that are so far out of whack. It's unbelievable. It's like the same thing as selling you a shoe that I created. Oh, but you can't sell a shoe. The earth contained those materials that you got. You can't sell the earth. It's the same exact thing, guys. You can't be a guide for a living. What are you doing? You can't show people planet Earth for a living. Well, actually, you can. So there's a element of woke culture in my channel, apparently, because I get surprising numbers of emails like that. And that's the biggest one. Like, people get mad at me for selling trail information. And I may do that again. I may start selling trail information again. I'm providing a service, and if you don't like it, you can suck. Let's see. You know, I don't get hate mail that often. Other mail that I could consider somewhat hate mail is people that don't want me to share trails at all. And to that, I say I somewhat agree with you. You can give me your outlook on certain topics, and I may listen to you. So those are welcome. But I agree, it's not always good to disclose trails. And the more I've ridden, the more that I've been on YouTube, the more I've realized that you really shouldn't expose certain trails because of the eyes that watch.
What's going on, guys? So I just wanted to give like a more in-depth response to that other question or comment about exposing certain trail systems or trails. And I don't do that very often. I kind of I use discretion on that kind of stuff. And really, there's enough room out in the wild for all of us, guys. I think a lot of us get this selfish mentality that it's ours. You know, it's our area. We can't expose it. We can't let anybody else ride it. It's our secret little area. And really, that's in my mind, that's pretty flawed thinking. We need to get more people out there. A lot of these trail systems are disappearing because lack of use, and just I think a lot of it is because of that selfish mindset. So I think the more people we get out there, the better. I mean, there's room for all of us out there. I say that all the time, but these trails are not getting overused. Yeah, there are some whooped out sections, and that's always going to be the case. People who ride parking lots are generally happy there. They're just going to ride the parking lots, and people who don't want to drive over a certain distance to ride, that's okay too. They're just going to stay there. But, you know, exposing trails or letting people know where certain trails are, that's not really going to cause more traffic, and that's never my concern. So just so you know where my mind is on this stuff, it's never about keeping people out. Never. It's all about keeping the government out and keeping these groups out that will try to shut things down. And that's the unfortunate part of being on YouTube, is a lot of the enemy is out there looking at these videos, critiquing them. They've got nothing better to do but sit here and sift through my footage and look for some kind of natural resource damage or so-called that they can find and use against us. And that's my main concern. And so that's, you know, a lot of the people that email me about trails and get mad because I won't expose them or share some of these areas. That's why. Instead of making these commies go out there and find the trails themselves, now I'm bringing it to YouTube, which is all they have to do is sit down and watch all my videos. I just don't want Idaho to turn out like California. California has gotten really bad as far as trail systems and access to the outdoors, which is absurd. I mean, really absurd. You think about the natural terrain that we ride in, and you think of the chaos that we ride through, and that the earth used to be a volcanic mess and then an ice mess, and these mountains just jetted up through the surface of the earth, just in pure chaos. There is no balance, and that's what people really struggle with, is when they see people riding through the mountains, they think it's this pristine, untouched thing, when really it's an explosion of soil and rock, and it's just pure chaos, and we are just riding over the top of it, you know, for about a foot wide patch where the soil stays cleared off right there. There's no damage whatsoever. And so this is where I'm coming from. It's such a complicated topic, but I think that I won't expose a lot of areas, but there are areas that I'm totally down to expose and show people where they're at. And, you know, it's not that I want to keep people out at all. That's not it. I want more riders out there. I want to grow the sport, and anybody who doesn't want to grow this sport doesn't want to strengthen the sport. We need more strength. Trust me, we need more people, and we need more riders out there. Anyways, guys, that's my response. Catch you on the next one.
I don't want to be too negative, but those are my responses to the hate mail. Basically, my response is I do what I want. Anyways, I've got a different front wheel on this bike now. It's got an old tire, but at least this tire has a bib that fits, or it's tubeless, I should say. So this one's not flopping around on the rim. Much more controllable. It's weird. I kind of got used to that madness. So now riding it this way, I'm like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. It's like if you ride a bike with bent handlebars for a long time. Didn't expect you. Have a good day, guys. I've got 3 more coming. Yeah. Yeah, they'll get around you. One thing I wanted to mention, though, is that when I talk about stuff, and it's pretty much anything on this channel, I'm talking about it from a perspective of, like, I'm probably guilty if I'm talking about something, a topic that is kind of like, it seems judgmental. I'm probably guilty of what I'm talking about. It's like, I've talked about sugar intake before and how horrible it is. I have a terrible problem taking in too much sugar. So don't ever think that just because I talk about it means that I don't do it. I'm just talking. That's what I do on a motorcycle. I just talk about things I believe to be true, and doesn't mean that I've got very good discipline in any of those realms. I consider myself to be somewhat of a disciplined person, but not completely.